Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Today, we're going to cover the secrets that buyers miss. So, seller secrets that buyers miss. If you're buying home, here's the best kept secret that most buyers do not use sellers' concessions. So, let me share my screen and let's get into it today. All right, so this is the best kept secrets lowering buyers' closing costs. And here you are. All right. It's a strategic guide to help you. And in this, here we go. One of the fastest ways to lower how much money you bring in is closing costs at the closing cost table without begging for your lower price. This is the hurdle that you didn't see coming, cash to close. Most buyers focus their energy on negotiating the purchase price, but a major expense is closing costs, and that can drain your savings. You have down payment and you have closing costs. So let's talk about it. Most sellers cannot pay your down payment, but closing costs comprise lenders' fees, escrow fees, and more, and can add up to thousands for you. So, hey, y'all, just so you know, I'm Lisa. Seller's concessions are also called credits. And when the seller agrees to pay certain costs on behalf of closing, it's not free into your pocket. It's negotiated credit that can cover the closing related expenses. And we call these seller concessions. They're negotiated, and it's not free money, it's a credit applied. So you understand. So what does it cover? It covers closing costs like lender's fees and escrow fees. It covers prepaid items like homeowners insurance, prepaid property taxes, and prepaid insurance. Discount points, like if you wanted to buy the interest rate down, which quite a few people are choosing to do right now, it covers that too, but it cannot cover your down payment. That's why I mentioned you do have a down payment and closing costs, but it cannot be covered with sellers cannot pay your down payment within these programs legally. So just so you know that. Okay. Um, Most buyers miss out on this opportunity, and that's because buyers assume that the only negotiation lever is your purchase price, and they focus on getting the price down, but concessions are really important when you do the math. From the seller's perspective, they care more about their net proceeds. In other words, how much money they're getting at the end. A $10,000 seller credit on 470,000 offer can mean more, or it can be more appealing than for dropping their price 460,000 for some sellers. Now let's look at the math. So if you have 470,000 in your purchase price, you have an estimated closing costs and prepaids of 17,500, and you negotiate a $10,000 credit. So let's walk you through that. So you turn $10,000 credit into real savings on day one. So let me show you. Without concessions, your cash to close is the down payment plus 17,500. So if your down payment is 10,000, then that's 27,500, for instance. With concessions paid of 10,000, for instance, it lowers your closing cost to 7,500, and then you have the down payment. So instead of the 27,500, now you have 17,500 cash to close. And remember, oftentimes when you, or if you don't, or you're unaware, when you put an offer in, you usually put down earnest money that gets deposited into escrow, and that goes towards your down payment. That's another video, but we'll talk about it at another time. So now that does make a difference for you. So instead of bringing in that full amount, you do have a reduction and it saves you money in pocket. I tell people that oftentimes when you're moving into a home, you have additional expenses like blinds and painting and things like that are just cosmetic that you want to do for the home, and allowing yourself to have more money coming in is a plus for you. Now, using concessions can lower your monthly payment. Let's talk about how that works. So, beyond reducing the initial outlay, there's a second powerful way to use credits. That would be buying down discount points. In other words, instead of having that higher 7% interest rate, as an example, let's say you're able to buy down the interest rate to one of the lenders just told me they got somebody down with not perfect credit to 5.99. That was pretty decent for somebody. And so if you could get it around there or even lower in your discount points, let's say that's costing you 7,500 and you ask the seller to pay that, that's less cash and you lower your payment at the same time. It's a strategic move that most home buyers don't even know about, and it can save you quite a bit of money for sure. So, how to choose the right strategy for you. Don't base it on good vibes or guesses. You obviously want to ask your lender for two written scenarios side by side. I often advocate that buyers do this. So, when you apply the full credit of closing costs, what that looks like, what it looks like doing the full credit to buy down the interest rate, or maybe even a combination would be a third scenario. You want to look at all these options, and the lender should be able to put this together for you very quickly. So you want to compare these costs and see what's going to make the best, what would be the best decision for you. So you can compare scenarios, analyze your goals, and then you make an informed decision. That's the way to do it. Now, let's say we're just looking at the two strategies that I mentioned. A third could be what I said, the combination of the two, but let's look at the two to make it simple. Number one strategy is you're maximizing your cash in your pocket. So you're applying the credit to the closing costs and prepaids, and then you're lowering possible cash to close, less money out of your pocket. The trade-off is you're not reducing the mortgage down because you're not using that money unless, to reduce it down. And so it may be best if you want to keep your cash. That's important to you. The other one is to minimize your monthly payment. So you apply the credits to bring the rate down, and that would lower your monthly payment for the life of the loan. So you have a higher initial cash to close, but your payment is lower. And these are buyers who, you're comfortable with the money you're coming up with, you saved, you're prepared, whatever you want to say, and you do want the payment lower though. Now, the exact scripts for winning negotiation is what you can ask your real estate agent. You can request seller concessions in our offer based on recent closing costs and days on market. So you do want to keep informed on what the market is doing. And that is definitely information that an agent can provide you. You want to ask the lender for those different scenarios so you can see the side-by-side quotes and have the information in front of you. 3 critical mistakes to avoid is waiting too long. So the earlier I find to negotiate, the better. Last minute stuff, everybody gets mad about that. Maybe not you because it's what you want, but sellers get mad and it makes it harder to negotiate. So let's bring it up ahead of time. Don't bring it up after an inspection or try to game the system or something like that. It's not worth it. Just do it ahead of time. And it can be done with your agent and the lender quickly. You want to assume any amounts is owed. So different loan types have strict caps on concessions. That is definitely true. Some loan types, the lender will say, no, the seller can only pay up to this amount in your closing costs. So you want to confirm that with the lender. That's really important. And then the other, so these are mistakes to avoid, is thinking it's automatic. A seller credit is never guaranteed. Everything must be negotiated up front. Now, you now control more than just the price. Sellers' concessions are strategic levers that shifts the negotiations, and you want to be aware of that. They give you direct control over two of the most important factors, and that would be the cash you need to bring in and the monthly payment. Again, it's not mentioned here, but I like to also think of a combination of the two, which is possible. So you want to use your knowledge to structure a smarter, more financially sound offer. And you can do that with the experts involved, the agent negotiating, as well as you as the informed consumer getting, putting together the information from the agent negotiating and the lender giving you the scenarios to help you make an informed decision. I appreciate you tuning in today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.